So it's a couple days before Christmas, so I figured today would be a good day to talk about the gift that keeps on giving, and that is the gift of freedom. This is a gift I give myself consciously every single day. And this is the gift that I want to help you guys, especially those of you who are struggling with it after being in a relationship for a long time, or for you guys who are single and don't fully appreciate or understand just how valuable this gift is, how to make it more valuable, and how to cause it to appreciate. So when you appreciate something, it does increase in value. However, the appreciation is an active thing. It's not something that happens passively. Like, you can appreciate something like standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon and look out and go, wow, that's really cool. But that's not the same. You know, when I'm talking about appreciation, I'm talking about increasing its value in your life on a daily basis and doing it in a conscious way so that no one will ever take it from you again. And you will be much less likely to turn it over to anyone because it means too much to you. Let's talk about it. So when I talk about freedom, let's get real clear about what freedom is. It's freedom from all of those external attachments that you think you need to have a fulfilled or happy life. That's a very complex statement there. So let me break it down a little bit. External attachments. There are certain things that you absolutely need. You need food, you need water, you need air, you need shelter. But that's probably about it. Beyond that, everything else is something that you believe you need. Specifically, I'm talking a lot about relationships here, you know, for this channel's purpose, but really it could apply to a lot of other stuff. I think a lot of your belief systems are things that you are attached to that cause you a lot of pain, and they restrict your freedom. But that's a video for another day. So let's just talk about relationships specifically here, and very specifically romantic relationships with women, because our society has kind of led us to believe that we need these relationships in order to have a happy and fulfilled life. And nothing could be further from the truth. This belief system is deeply ingrained in us from a very early age. So a lot of guys coming out of a marriage in particular really feel like they're lost for a while. And a lot of young guys who have not been in a serious heavy-duty relationship like a marriage feel like they need that in their life to feel fulfilled or to find happiness or joy or whatever it is they're looking for. And of course, these things are constructs of our media and our society, and these are narratives that serve other people, but they don't necessarily serve you. So you need to get really clear in your head about what's important to you in particular and why it's important. If a relationship is in the cards for you because you truly believe that it is something that is important to you, not because it's a need, but because it's something that you desire, then see it for that. It's a desire. It's like chocolate cake after dinner. You don't need it, but it would be fun to have it. But with that in mind, there are a lot of dangers associated with it, and I've done a ton of videos on that. So let's just proceed forward with freedom and why it's so important, how to implement it in your life, and how to make it grow so that you appreciate it, and the lack of having a woman in your life isn't an issue for you at all. So in order to fully experience freedom, it's going to require that you focus on yourself. And this is counterintuitive for a lot of guys, because focusing on the self feels selfish. And it is not selfish in this context, because in order for you to fully reach your potential as a man, you are going to have to be the one that delivers that potential. So it's almost like you're acting in service of yourself. It's not necessarily a selfishness, like where you're taking or holding back from someone else. It's that you are acting in your own best interest. You are in service to yourself. And with that in mind, there are 4 areas where you're going to have to act in service of yourself in order to fully appreciate the freedom that you have now, or that you're experiencing, or that you want to experience in your life. The first area that you have to focus on is the physical aspect of your body and your health. Now, for whatever reason, and I know there's a lot of reasons, there's a ton of controversy over this. And I'm not going to get into that, because people want to say, oh, if I eat nothing but this or nothing but that or whatever, I eliminate this macronutrient or whatever. I don't want to go down that path, because it's all bullshit. The thing that most people don't realize in our society is that your attention has value, and people say and do things to get your attention. And they say and do things that are outrageous or are intended to elicit a reaction. They want to be counter culture. They want to say things that are crazy to make people think, wow, that guy must know something I don't. And they don't. They're just saying it to get your attention, and they earn money from your attention. So when you hear something that sounds stupid, it probably is. So do some research, read some books. You know, the internet has access to all of the research studies ever performed, and you have access to them. Go into Google Scholar and start searching and reading research studies. You will learn a ton about nutrition and its effects on your body, and the most important aspect of it is your longevity. That's all it boils down to. How long are you going to live? How healthy are you going to be when you get there, you know? And the only way to do that is to take the time out and to focus your attention on it and make it important to you. The other part of that, of course, is exercise. And you know, some people are better at aerobic exercise, other people enjoy resistance training, and I get that, and I think that you need both in your life, but do not overlook the resistance training, because if you're not strong as you age, you're going to suffer. I guarantee it. Now, you absolutely need to have a strong, healthy heart and strong, healthy lungs, and I totally agree. You need to get out there and do some aerobics from time to time. But you can get a lot of aerobic activity from lifting, and if you put your routines together correctly, your heart will be beating out of your chest, I guarantee it. So your physical health is the number one thing. The number two thing is your intellectual health. And that I sort of touched on that a minute ago. You've got to use curiosity to inquire about things that you are implementing in your life. You can't not take people's word for it on face value. Our whole society is at odds with itself because people don't take the time to investigate the reality of anything that someone says. Trolling is the act of like when you're fishing, of dragging bait on a hook across the water. And that's what people do, not just on the internet, but in politics and in just about every endeavor you can think of, is they will troll by dropping bait. And that bait is oftentimes some statement or some idea or some thought that will elicit a reaction. Now those words, when they put them out there in the world, they are designed specifically to elicit a reaction, either a positive reaction that you're going to want to do that, or a negative reaction where you're going to fight against it. This is just a way to play with your brain. When you respond to that, whatever that trolling is, positive or negative, and it doesn't matter what field you're talking about, it could be politics, it could be nutrition, it could be education, it could be gender issues, whatever that is, you need to take the time to investigate it yourself. That means you're going to have to read some books, you're going to have to educate yourself. Being intellectually well-rounded is critical to your freedom. You cannot accept what you read or see online. You cannot accept what you see in social media. You've got to dig into it. You've got to not just read books or articles by people you agree with, but you need to be able to see issues from every side. If you don't, you basically become a drone for the people who are trying to manipulate you. You are basically under their control. You do not want to subject yourself to that because you're just literally turning your freedom over to someone else. So rather than giving it to a woman who's going to manipulate you, you're going to give it to some idiot online or some politician or who knows who. But you've got to do your research. You've got to dig into these things and figure it out. Otherwise, your freedom is an illusion. The next area of your life that you're going to have to put some time and energy into is your finances. You have got to take responsibility for your money. You need to dedicate some time and energy into putting together a plan for having the money that you need to live the life that you want. Now, this is not one of those instant gratification things. You know, you can't just go online and drop a bunch of money on some stock or some cryptocurrency and think that you're going to wake up the next morning and be a millionaire. It might happen, but it probably won't. So you're going to have a really good plan for how you're going to do it. Working a job, in most cases, is not going to happen. It's not going to work. Our culture has devalued work significantly. They've outsourced jobs all across the world. They overtax wages. They undertax investments. So you're going to have to find a way to make some money. I can tell you that our country, the laws in the United States really favor self-employed people a lot. The tax laws are extraordinarily beneficial to people who are self-employed. So if you can find a way to do what you do for yourself, I would highly recommend it. It is by far the easiest way for you to accumulate wealth. Buying property, certainly you got to have some investments in the stock market, and if you like crypto, you think that's something you can do, then, you know, I don't understand it. I don't get it. My son has made a fortune on it, but whatever, it works. I don't think it should, but it does. So what do I know? But yeah, you gotta take account for your money, man. You want to have money because that money represents freedom. That money gives you the ability to make decisions on your own behalf to do the things that you want to do. It's not just a matter of being intellectually free or having the time to be free. You're not tied down by a woman, and you're not tied down by somebody else's narrative about your life, but you got to have the money to actually do something about it. So you need to focus on how you can increase your wealth on a consistent, reliable, steady way where you have as much control as possible. Because if you turn over this process to something like the markets and you depend on the markets, well, it's inevitable that you're going to be at risk for losing all your money. So although the markets can certainly play a role in it, you can't rely on that as your wealth generator. All right, this last one is actually kind of tough. It's a lot tougher than it sounds, and it is your emotional freedom. Emotions are like women. Emotions, you need to be able to guide them, or they will guide you. And I don't think most people understand the way emotions work. They just are victims of their emotions. These emotions drive their behaviors and their activities. And in reality, you have a lot of control over your emotion. And I'm not saying it in some weird stoic, male way where we bottle up our emotions in our chest and we all have heart attacks when we're 50. No, I'm talking about understanding what the role of emotions are in your life and how to use them to your advantage. So, emotions are, in most cases, one of two things. One, they're the result of a thought that you had. So you had a thought about how lonely you are, and now you're sad. That's a thought that results in an emotion. That happens. The other thing is they are like a barometer for the experiences that we're having. They provide us feedback to what's going on around us. So either you're initiating an emotion for the sake of experiencing that, and you can control that by changing that thought. So, yeah, I'm lonely, but that just means I'm alone. That doesn't mean I'm lonely, I'm alone. So because I'm alone, I have options. I can do things to fill my time. I can go for walks in the freezing cold, and it's like 22 degrees out here. It is cold with my dogs and stand by this creek. Or I can sit in front of the TV and watch football today. I can exercise, or I can overeat. You know, you can start to think about what things you want to do with your life rather than being lonely. Being alone is a gift. You have the opportunity to use your time the way you want to for your own benefit. You don't need to go into that sad state of being lonely. Now, the other part of emotions is you get this feedback from your body. Sometimes you get this emotional surge that doesn't seem to have originated from some thought. You feel something in return. Negative emotions that you feel in that way are generally telling you that you're headed in the wrong direction. So, for example, I remember in my marriage, there were times when I felt really badly based on what was going on. And this was sort of like my body's way of saying to me, this is wrong. This is wrong, and you need to do something to change it. So recognize that when you just start feeling an emotional experience, you're having an emotional experience because of something that's happening outside of you, it's giving you feedback. Like if, somebody you care about dies, that obviously is an event that you didn't have any control over. It's not necessarily from a thought. It's something that's happened outside of you. Now, your thoughts about it may certainly influence your emotions, but it's certainly completely natural to have a natural reaction to that experience, and you're just experiencing that. Just become aware that that's what it's from, and decide how it's going to affect your body, how you're going to allow it to affect your life. It's normal to mourn the loss of someone, even the loss of a marriage for that matter, but you can't allow that mourning to dictate to you how your life is going to go from this point forward. It has a place in your life, but it doesn't control your life. And that's why I said emotions are a lot like women. If you don't guide them and control them, they will control you. And you cannot allow that to happen. If you find yourself spiraling in some kind of an emotional melees, because you can't break the pattern of your thoughts regarding, something that's happened, then you just have to change your scenery. You need to get away, do something different. And when those thoughts come up, when those thoughts about whatever it is that's making you upset come up, you need to practice this very simple technique. You say, I'm not going to have that thought right now. I'm not going to have that thought right now. That's all. It's not like you're never going to have that thought. You're just not going to have that thought right now. And you're going to move on to something else. And then just put your attention on something else. Read a book, find something that you can do actively, get out for a walk, do something that will activate your brain and keep you busy. But you cannot allow your emotions to drive your life. You have to drive your life with your rational mind. Our rational minds are our gifts. As men, we are very fortunate that we're not driven by emotion. So use your rational mind to drive your experience, and to understand that the thoughts that you're having are going to have emotional repercussions from time to time. And if you're having a thought that's leading you to an emotional repercussion that you don't enjoy, change your thought. It's just as simple as that. Change your thought about it. See it from a different perspective. See it from an understanding that maybe this is a good thing, that it's not a bad thing. Maybe there's a lesson in this for you. Maybe there's value in this experience. But don't allow yourself to get lost in the emotion, because it's just like this giant pit and it will swallow you up. Don't let that happen. You cannot allow that to happen. Freedom is extremely valuable. It is a gift that we give ourselves every single day, and it will increase in value as you appreciate it. This appreciation is an active form of appreciation. It is not passive. You must put the time and energy in to cause that gift to increase in value. As you do that, you will notice that your life will become better and easier and more enjoyable and more emotionally stable and more financially rewarding, and everything about it will start to come together. If you put in the time and you allow this gift to appreciate, you will never regret it. Now, when it comes to women, I'm not saying that you should never have a woman in your life and that she's going to wreck it. She's not. If you are in your frame by creating this world around yourself that is based on appreciating your freedom and your autonomy, as you allow women into your life, they're going to have to conform to this world that you have created. If you do not have a world that you value, that you have put time and energy into, that has a lot of appreciation, then it'll be very easy for any woman to come in and wipe it all away. So, plus, when you value your freedom and you appreciate it in this way, you're much less likely to give it up to anyone, even someone who's great, even someone who seems perfect. It's going to give you pause before you make that decision. So, by creating this value in your life, by giving yourself this gift and doing it over and over and over again, every single day, and waking up every morning and realizing you've got this gift and now it's up to you to cherish it and to make it more and more valuable. When you do that, your life is going to be better and your ability to attract the kind of person that you want will be improved. And if you decide that you never want to have a woman in your life, you won't miss her. You won't miss that woman because you're so happy and fulfilled with the life that you've created. All right, you guys, that's all I got for you today. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like and subscribe, share it with people. I wish you the very best holiday. I certainly hope your Christmas is going to be great and fun, and you have time with your loved ones. And if you're spending it alone, see it as a gift. It's not something to be sad about. It's an opportunity to be exploited. Use it. Use it. Every minute that you're here, every chance that you get, make the most of it. All right, you guys, I'll see you next one. Stay healthy, and if you can, stay single.